Well, good morning. I didn't plan this, but today's gospel kind of picks up right where I left off the last time I was given a message. So the setting's the same. It's still a private discussion between Jesus and his disciples the night before he was crucified. The mood is still confusing, fearful, tense, and uncertain. It's known as the farewell discourse. I think it's a kind of important to go back in time and kind of understand a little historical context here and understand why Jesus' words were shocking to the disciples. In verse 23, Jesus is revealing a time that is coming where access to God will be ours. Back in those days, access to God was very mediated by priests, sacrifices, rituals. It was also very much tied to a physical building, the temple, and structured patterns and behaviors. What Jesus is saying here are ideas that we kind of take for granted today. A direct access to God, anytime, anywhere, no middleman. We have God's direct line, no secretary. This, of course, makes things so much more convenient. This type of relationship can be seen today as we look around on a Mother's Day. You know who else knows how to bypass the middleman? Kids. My kids know exactly who to go to when they want something. It's Mom. But it's not always about getting ice cream before bed. How many moms out there have had a little human climb into bed at night during a thunderstorm? What happens? Eventually, pretty quickly, they calm down and fall back asleep. It's still storming outside. Nothing's changed out there. The only thing that's changed is where they are and, more importantly, who they're with. That's what we get with direct access to God. Comfort. So that direct access means prayer. This prayer and this gift of prayer was granted to us from Jesus Christ. He gave us that authority in his name. And that name, by the way, is not just any name. It's not a phrase. His name is authority. Heaven recognizes it. And it carries victory. When we righteously pray, I'd argue that it's probably the only time that it's acceptable to name drop. Since we are talking about the use of words and language, we should look at verse 25 a little closer. Jesus begins to offer a clarity by stopping the use of figurative speech. This must have got the disciples' attention. Imagine, for years these disciples have been hearing parables, symbolic, and often confusing teachings that require a deep spiritual insight and reflection. Now all of a sudden, he's being direct. I think the reason for this is Jesus is preparing them for a true and total understanding that can only be obtained after the cross. How do we prepare for things that we haven't experienced yet? Another question for the moms. What's your favorite question to hear on a long car ride? Are we there yet? It's hard to prepare young kids for a long road trip. They don't understand what an hour is, let alone a mile. We as parents can promise you it's not going to be fun. But we also know that the final destination and the fun we'll have when we get there is worth it. As adults, I think we could probably use a little bit of this reminder in our faith walk, in our parenting, in our marriages, at work, in our retirement. Maybe we just need to sit back in our car seat a little bit more often, color a picture, enjoy a juice box, and trust the driver a little more. We know what we're doing, right? The disciples thought they had it figured out. Anybody here have it figured out? No? How about when you were younger? I can remember back to when I was a little bit younger, and I had everything figured out. So I thought. Then, when life would hit me in the head, of course, Mom was always there to pick me up and dust me off. The disciples at this moment were sure that their faith was strong, but they didn't know what they didn't know. Jesus even calls them out a little bit by saying, "Do you believe now?" And then goes on to say, "You will be scattered. You're all going to run away and hide. You will leave me all alone." There's no way, right? Sometimes it hurts to hear the true thing, especially when you feel so strongly about it. Jesus knew the truth and the weight of what was about to happen. He knew not only what it was going to happen to him, but he also knew how hard it was going to be for his beloved followers. Then he goes on to say, "I have told you these things, so that in me you will have peace. In this world you will have troubles, but take heart. I have overcome the world." It's his final offering of clarity. 4 sentences, 2 promises. Trouble is guaranteed, but peace is still possible. Take heart. This isn't a statement of reassurance. It's not a "everything's going to be fine" statement. The Son of God is telling us to be courageous. Why? Because he has overcome the world. I found it interesting that that's a past tense statement. I mean, he hasn't even been arrested yet. Talk about calling your shot. What an awesome God we serve. My prayer for us this week is that we do not take for granted the blessing that we have in a direct relationship with an amazing God. That we trust God enough to pray to him, and that we keep that same level of trust even when we don't hear an answer. That we are never satisfied with our level of faith, so that we can strive every day to be closer to him, and that we take heart and be courageous in our faith, and that God blesses all mothers, past, present, and future. Amen.